Awesome. So again, welcome in everyone to our February member meeting of the month. It is so exciting to be here with y'all. And also happy Black History Month. It's February, so that means we get to celebrate and hold space and honor all of the amazing folks of color, Black people, African Americans, African descendant. But we get to celebrate that beautiful, beautiful culture, my culture, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. So happy Black History Month to you all. It's a good thing to start off with IJ. So exciting. Um, so we will get right into it. As I said, we are recording the call for folks that are watching this recording back. So thank you for watching the recording. For our agenda, we have some organizational updates that we will be providing to you, as well as what's going on internally within IJ. And then the big, huge news that we all shared with you last month of some of the changes that were coming to our membership structure, our committee structure. So we're very excited to be able to announce many of those changes with y'all this evening. And we'll also have space at the end of the presentation for some feedback, questions and things of that nature. And then we will move into a close. So not too much of a compacted agenda, but lots and lots of information. So excited for y'all to be here this evening. For those of you watching back, and we will just go ahead and jump into it and get started. So it is about 6:34, 35. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and get started and folks can continue to trickle into the space. So again, welcome to our February member meeting. My name is Adriana Griffith. I am the statewide advocacy manager here at Initiate Justice. I remembered to say it first this time because I always forget. And the reason why I'm introducing myself is just in case there are any new folks in the space this evening. We want to hear about it. We want to know if this is your first time joining a member meeting for Initiate Justice. So please feel free to utilize that chat feature, introduce yourselves in the chat, tell us how you heard about us. We love to hear these stories and we love when new people find us. It's really exciting. So if you are new to the space, welcome. For those of you returning, welcome back. And then also for those of you returning, you may recognize and realize that usually we start off with a grounding exercise by our wonderful outside organizer, Oka. However, Oka is not with us this evening as she had another session that she was doing somewhere else. And so we want to wish her the best of luck in that session. We want to send her all the positive vibes and positive thoughts for that. So we will be skipping our grounding this evening. However, if you personally feel like you need to take a couple of minutes to just deep breathe, de-stress, whatever you feel like you need to do, I definitely invite you to do so. If you are on camera, you can turn your camera off and step out of the room, so to speak. And when you are ready, feel free to come back into the space. Okay, so definitely feel free to take care of you as best you see fit during our time together. And so we're gonna move into just some organizational updates. So first off, just want to acknowledge our Abolition is for Everybody podcast. And so season 3 of episode 2, or episode 2 of season 3, excuse me, has launched. It launched on January 24th. Super exciting, great episode. I listened to it the day that it came out. I hope y'all did too. If you have not, we are going to drop a link in the chat where you can go and listen to it. It is available wherever you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcast. It's even available on YouTube. So if you don't subscribe to a particular podcast or streaming service, you can always listen to it on YouTube as well. Second update, the Institute of Impacted Leaders. This is my favorite. So I'm happy to announce Institute of Impacted Leaders applications are now live. We are going back to the Inland Empire this year, this beginning in March. So it will start, like I said, this spring in March. Applications are open. They will be open until February 17th. So that is about 2 more weeks to get your applications in. If you are interested, we're going to drop a link in the chat where you can sign up. Folks, if you do sign up for that cohort, there will be an info session, mandatory info session that is scheduled for February 23rd at 6:30 p.m. to 9:00 p.m. It is mandatory if you are interested in participating in the Institute of Impacted Leaders cohort. And you will receive a Zoom link and things like that after you apply with the application. For those of you who are new to the space, the Institute of Impacted Leaders is an organizing training for 12 weeks. It's a 12-week advocacy and organizing training where we take folks directly impacted by incarceration, so either formerly incarcerated or they've had a loved one who was incarcerated or is incarcerated. And we train them in organizing, advocacy at the grassroots level, understanding concepts of abolition and intersectionality, and how that all like aligns and folds into policy change. And so that's 12 weeks that we take folks through all of these things. And at the end of it, they graduate and become outside organizers with Initiate Justice and able to go out and use their advocacy skills that they have increased in Institute in their own communities. And so really excited to be going back to the Inland Empire. We were there once before, so really, really excited to go back. So again, if you are interested, please go ahead and apply. If you know somebody who might be interested or sounds like it might be up their alley, please feel free to share the information with them. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. My email is adriana@initiatejustice.org, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. So please feel free to email me any question. I will respond in a timely manner, I promise. But definitely excited to see more applicants applying for the Institute. So exciting for that. And then just a quick policy update. We are still finalizing our legislative package and agenda for the year of 2023. So we don't have a specific update for you this evening, but you can catch our policy director, Greg, on Instagram Live next week on February 8th. And it will be on our Instagram. So you make sure you want to follow our Instagram and push the notifications to get notified for when we go live. And that will be again at 5:30 next Wednesday, February 8th on Instagram Live. So Greg will have all of the updates that he will have. And then of course, you'll want to join us next month for our March member meeting when we get to discuss the whole entire package. So it will be really, really exciting. So that is sort of our internal updates. Are there any questions at this point about the podcast, Institute of Impacted Leaders, or policy? Just want to give space and check to see if there's any questions. I'm not seeing none, and I don't see any in the chat. Awesome. So we will keep moving right along. And again, feel free if you have questions, utilize that chat. You can raise your hand and we will call on you and bring you off from mute. And so you can ask your question that way if that works better for folks. So wanting to transition into, like I said, the bulk of our program where this evening where we're going to be sharing with you some of the updates regarding our membership and committee structure. So for those that might have been in this space last month, I did share that we were changing our membership structure, making it a little bit more easier for folks to become members of Initiate Justice and so on and so forth. So I really want to just start off by acknowledging that we have a very solid membership at Initiate Justice, both inside and outside. One of the things I really love about our community is that we are always ready, we're willing, and ready to go. And we're ready to accept folks with open arms at the same time. And so in the conversations that we've had when it comes to restructuring and redoing our membership structure, we had to listen to our membership. We had to listen to potential members and folks that wanted to be members, particularly folks that are impacted, right? Directly impacted by incarceration. I think that it's really important that we remember why Initiate Justice was started, and where it was started, remembering that it was started inside of a prison visiting room. And so folks that are inside will eventually be coming outside. And we want them to be able to connect to Initiate Justice with fluidity. We don't want to create unnecessary barriers or hurdles for folks that are coming out to engage with Initiate Justice and to get connected. So this year, as I said, we made some significant changes to our outside membership structure. And again, this is because we are always taking feedback and looking for ways to better serve our community. And so one of the things that we will be doing is lowering the barrier to our outside membership. So previously, and I do have a presentation, which I'll show in a little bit, but I just want to give some context. So previously, we had a membership structure where you had to attend 3 out of 4 member meetings consecutively and join one of our committees. And what we realized is that folks coming home from prison and folks recently released after being incarcerated for a significant amount of time, it's a lot to ask as folks are coming home and they're trying to get reacclimated to life, to society, and trying to figure out where to put their time. And it just felt very overwhelming to some folks. And so we really listened to that and we changed and we shifted to allow for folks to easier connect with us. And so what this means is folks will no longer need to attend 3 out of 4 monthly meetings and join a committee to be an official member. We'll explain what the new membership structure will look like in a little bit, but wanting that to be clear that that will no longer be the requirement to become a member of Initiate Justice. And this isn't, I don't want folks to confuse this with outside organizer. The outside organizer program through the Institute of Impacted Leaders will remain the same. This is strictly for our outside membership. So this includes everybody from allies to families to individuals to impacted people. So this is everybody that just wants to be a member. And so again, this was done so that folks returning home do not have added barriers to becoming a member on the outside. We also wanted to be a little bit more aligned with our inside program. Right. And so with our inside membership program, folks sign up to receive our inside journal 4 times a year. And that is how they are engaging with Initiate Justice. And that is how they obtain their membership. And so we also wanted to be aligned. We didn't want it to be super confusing and super far apart that folks that maybe were an inside member that are coming home are now trying to be an outside member, but the amount of meetings that they need or that are required of them can feel a little bit unrealistic at times, especially dealing with everything they're dealing with coming home. And so again, these are why we made some of the changes. And then we don't want to make it more difficult to engage in the work that we do. As I said, particularly for those that are directly impacted. And so I am going to be sharing my screen, going to pull up a presentation that explains and kind of gives a visual for all of these changes so that y'all know what exactly Adriana is talking about. So just give me 1 second and I will share my screen. All righty, can folks see that? Awesome, 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 good stuff. So let me see, how can I make the slideshow? Oop, go back to the slides. All right. So 2023 membership and committees. So I want to first start off by explaining what the purpose and the goals are of our outside membership program. And so I don't know if we've ever shared this, but really wanting to be transparent with our membership so that folks can understand what our purpose is, what our goals are, and how we see that and Initiate Justice. So our purpose is to provide education, tools, and opportunities that empower impacted people and allies in the community to contribute to the work towards ending incarceration and abolishing punitive justice systems in California. Our goals are to outreach to the community at large to educate them about the work that we do, connect people in the community to IJ committees, our policy campaigns, advocacy efforts, abolitionist policy change, culture shift work, and other efforts to achieve systemic change statewide. And also cultivate community amongst membership to ensure that members stay engaged and active. So I want folks to hone into that last piece, that last bullet point that says to cultivate a community amongst membership and to ensure that members stay engaged and active. We want you to be engaged and we want you to be active, but we also recognize that we also have to provide the tools and the resources and the ability for you to do so on behalf of Initiate Justice. So moving down the slides, this is going to be our new membership structure. So you'll see on the left-hand side of the screen what our current membership or what our previous membership structure has been, which is to attend 3 consecutive monthly meetings in a 4-month period, join at least 1 committee, and complete a new membership orientation. And for those of you that have been members of Initiate Justice for a while, you will remember that we used to have folks stay on after our member meetings to do a new membership orientation and explain to folks the work that we do and the goals and the mission and things of that nature. And so, or to graduate from the Institute of Impacted Leaders was also another way that folks could become a member, right? But for folks that are not directly impacted, the only way is to do one of these 3 things: attend the member meetings, join the committees, and complete the new membership orientation. And once again, we realize for folks that are coming out of incarceration, that can seem like a lot, especially again, if you're trying to find housing, employment, maybe you happen to work during the times that member meetings are going on and you're only able to attend one every other month or so. And so we've had a lot of folks in situations like that where they're able to attend, they want to be a member, but they can't commit to 3 consecutive monthly meetings in a 4-month period for whatever reason. So again, listening to that, we recognize that we can do something different to change that. So our new membership structure and how folks are going to be members of Initiate Justice, right? Very simple. Folks will now sign up to receive our IJ newsletter. And so this will be something that comes out quarterly, similarly to the Inside Journal. And we'll explain all about the newsletter in a minute. But simply for folks to become a member of Initiate Justice, no longer will they need to do all of those things on the other side of the screen. Folks will simply need to sign up to receive our IJ newsletter. And then we also have these community values that we've been working on. And so folks will also be asked to agree and sign those community values. Because again, we want this to be a safe space for all of us, right? Allies, impacted people, anybody that comes into the space, we want it to be a place of safety, and we want all of our members to understand what those values are, know what those values are, and commit to those values. And so we are asking for those 2 things. And then, of course, still for folks that are directly impacted by incarceration, graduating from the Institute of Impacted Leaders will still be an automatic membership for Initiate Justice. And I also want it to be clear, you can see on the bottom of the screen, but I really want it to be clear that you do not have to be directly impacted by incarceration to be a member. But you do have to be directly impacted to join the Institute of Impacted Leaders. So I know we had a couple of new folks, so I just want to make that distinction there. And so moving on. So in addition to creating a new membership structure, we also created some benefits. So previously, current membership benefits looked like you would get a welcome package. And so we would send you some IJ swag, a t-shirt, some stickers, things of that nature. And then folks also had the opportunities to become members of the month, where we would spotlight that person on social media, their contributions to Initiate Justice and their extended community, and also, again, be awarded some IJ swag. And so we wanted to expand on that and really make these benefits really more cultivating and engaging and really provide you with tools, knowledge, resources, and things of that nature. So one of the benefits is going to be receiving a quarterly newsletter. And again, this is going to be similar to the Inside Journal. And within this newsletter, there will be opportunities. We'll highlight opportunities that are available within IJ. So that could be volunteer opportunities, job opportunities, consulting or internship opportunities, or fellowship opportunities. So those will be spotlighted in the newsletter, as well as opportunities within the extended community. So again, same thing, jobs, fellowships, things like that, we'll spotlight those for our members. We also are going to have a section about member spotlight, because we still want to acknowledge and amplify and uplift all of the work that our members are doing outside in their respective communities. So you will have the opportunity to submit your own spotlights. So you'll be able to submit pictures or write your submissions out in words, but you'll be able to tell us, hey, IJ, this is what I did in my community this month or this week or today. So for instance, me as Adriana, as my outside organizer self, if I were going to submit something for the spotlight, it would be like, I volunteered for my county's point in time count. And maybe I took a picture with my clipboard, and I would send that in with a caption that says volunteered for my county's point in time count. And those are the types of things that we want to spotlight. It could be as simple as, I helped my neighbor figure out how to vote, or I helped my neighbor sign up for voting. So it could be big things, it could be small things. It could be like, I helped my community member get to the grocery store today, right? Because again, at the heart of what we're doing at Initiate Justice and what we're fighting for is safer communities and building these better communities where we can rely on each other and not systems. And so anytime that you are engaging in this abolitionist lifestyle of not relying on systems, but relying on community, we want to hear about it and we want to spotlight that. So more information to come about that, but that is one of the sections that will be going into the newsletter, as well as policy updates and more. So for those that may be familiar with the Inside Journal, there is a section in Policy Corner where we have lots of policy updates about IJ-sponsored bills, as well as other bills that we've kind of just kept an eye on. And so you'll see something very similar in the outside quarterly newsletter as well. And then another thing we'll be incorporating is raffles, right? Because everybody loves free stuff. I love free stuff. I like to win things. It makes me feel good. Makes me feel like I'm doing something right sometimes. And so we will be incorporating raffles during our member meetings, and we'll be beginning these next month. And so it could be a $10 gift card to Starbucks. It could be an IJ t-shirt. It really just depends on what we have in our inventory and our stock. But I'm excited for this because it's something that's just fun. It's something that's fun that we can do. And everybody who attends a member meeting will be entered into these drawings and to win a raffle prize. So again, more information on that will be coming. I do also want to acknowledge, you'll see a tagline at the bottom of the screen that says current members will be automatically switched over and you will not need to sign up again. So I want to speak a little bit into that. And so for our sign up process, currently we have a whole lot of members. And so we are going to be doing some tech stuff on our end and switching folks over to a different system. Not something that you have to worry about. That is all happening internally and behind the scenes. So folks that have already been engaging with Initiate Justice, who are already members of Initiate Justice, will be automatically switched over. Any folks that we have as potential members, maybe you've done 1-2 meetings and you're waiting for your third, maybe this is your third, automatically will be rolled over into the new system to be members, and then automatically we'll get the newsletter as well. So another thing about the newsletter, unlike the Inside Journal, the Inside Journal is mailed into the prisons to each of the members. The outside newsletter will be digital, so it will be sent out via email, much like you get the monthly recaps that happen at the end of the month, and some of our other MailChimp updates. So it will be a similar system like that, but you will receive the newsletter and all information regarding membership and things like that way. So I do want to be clear that nobody's losing their membership. You will all be switched over. And then if there are any new folks in the room today, please feel free to send me an email just so I can flag your name and make sure that you are included in our new membership system. And so again, my email is going to be adriana@initiatejustice.org. So you can feel free to just send me an email and say, hey, I'm new. February was my first meeting. I'm really interested in becoming a member, and I will make sure that you become a member and provide you with all that information that you need. And so I do want to quickly pause and see, I know we're gonna have space for questions at the end, but I've been talking a lot, so I do want to quickly pause to see if there are any questions. If there's been any questions in the chat that I can answer or clarify anything at all. No questions so far. Awesome. Looks like everybody's doing good. Awesome. So, okay, so we're going to move on. The next part of the presentation is really explaining the change with our committee structure. So again, this is something that we changed. And I think once you see the differences, you'll understand why. And so really quickly, Initiate Justice committee structure. And committees are how IJ members can best get plugged into our work. So this year we've made some significant changes to make that even easier by combining our committee efforts to, one, be more intentionally focused, and two, increase member access to opportunities to get involved with IJ work. So what we realized is that we had a lot of meetings a month, y'all. We had a lot of things going on every month. We had an advocacy committee, we had inside organizing committee, inside membership committee, outside membership committee. We had healing committee, not to mention our member meeting of the month. Outside organizers have a separate meeting every month. So that's a lot of meetings. And so we realized that we were overstretching our members and organizers. And we realized that that's not conducive to getting work done. Especially when you're put into a position where you feel like you have to choose which meeting you show up to, but you really want to contribute something to each and every space. And so we listened to that. I know for myself as an organizer before I joined as staff, it did feel a little bit chaotic sometimes trying to pick and choose which IJ space I was going to be present for. And so again, listening to feedback we got from members, from organizers, we really just decided to go ahead and make the change in something that would be, again, less barriers, more access, easily sustainable, and manageable. And so previously, again, we've had 5 committees, right? And members had to sign up to join a committee. There was a committee email listserv. So if you weren't on that listserv, you didn't get updated about what was going on in the committee unless you came to the member meeting. And then you would receive the update. But throughout the month, you didn't know what was going on with committees unless you were on those specific listservs. And then also Healing Committee had been hosting Mindful Monday spaces. And so again, 3 more spaces because there was a men's space, a formerly incarcerated space, and a space for folks that had loved ones inside currently. So a lot of spaces. So we significantly downsized our committee structure and our committee spaces this year. So for 2023, we will have 2 committees instead of the typical 5 that folks are used to. So we'll have a volunteer committee as one, and then our second committee will be our community action committee. Community action committee. So these will be open committee formats. No signups will be required to join or participate. You would simply register to attend the meeting like you would a member meeting. So you won't need to sign up to join the committee, but every time that a committee comes up, we will just remind folks, register, so you get that Zoom link to join. And then again, there is going to be no listserv for the new committees because our new committees are going to be combined and not really owned by any one department. We are all going to be on this rotating schedule, which will be really, really exciting. So there will be no listserv. So all updates for committees will be provided during member meetings, in the newsletter, and in emails. If something is super critical to get out to the membership, we will send out an email. And then unfortunately, we did make this announcement last month, but just want to reiterate that we will not be having any Mindful Monday spaces in 2023. This is really in regards to, we've had some contracts end within at Initiate Justice. And so as we are, again, restructuring and reviewing all of our contracts and things like that, and hoping that it's something that we can continue and bring back next year. So we're reassessing that. We're assessing how successful it's been, how accessible is it for folks, and if we want to do it a little bit differently. So stay tuned on Mindful Spaces for 2024, but for 2023, we really wanted to just focus on committee work, restructuring our membership, and really making it a space that could be as beneficial to y'all as possible in terms of education and bumping up your skill set when it comes to advocacy. Any questions? We have a couple more slides to get through, so if you do have questions, feel free.
Dorothy had a question in the chat, Adriana, and she said that she would still like the committee meetings to be added to her calendar, and if that will still be an option.
Yes, so it will still be an option. So once you register for a committee meeting, you will get the ability to add that to your calendar. So usually what happens is it creates a calendar invite, and you can save that to your calendar and things like that. Similar to how you would register for member meetings and how they show up as calendar invites. Does that answer your question? Beautiful. And then Crispy, I do see your hand, so go ahead and come off mute.
Yeah, I was just wondering, so do we have any, in terms of advocacy, like, are we pushing any bills this year that we're supporting? And how would we get updates on that? Because, the legislative cycle changes, like, are we still going to be organizing legislative visits and all that other good stuff that we were doing?
Absolutely. That's a great question. Thank you for that. So yeah, so the stuff that was going on in advocacy committee isn't necessarily going anywhere. It's just being absorbed into this new committee structure. So all of our teams will be, and actually this will kind of be explained in the next couple of slides as well, but all of our teams will be rotating, hosting each committee meeting every month. So it won't be the same department. So like policy won't be hosting the community action committee every month, but they'll maybe host it every other month, right? But there will still be policy updates given at the committee meetings if we have some to provide. And Greg will also still be doing policy lives on Instagram as well. So we will still be doing advocating and organizing around legislation and things of that nature. None of that is changing. Just the way that it's structured is being changed is all. Does that answer your question, Crispy, or do you need a little bit more clarification there?
That answers my question. Thank you very much.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we'll move forward, and if there's any other questions, feel free to raise your hand, or like I said, drop it in the chat, and one of our team members, either Michelle or Crystal, will bring it to my attention. All right, so this is where we kind of explain what these committees are, what they're for, and what exactly is going on. So our volunteer committee, which will meet the second Wednesday of the month, 5:30 to 6:30. So that's another thing, is we kept committee meetings at the exact same times. We didn't want to change times and things like that, but we kept them at the same times. You'll also notice that we've also moved everything to a Wednesday. So Initiate Justice has now become IJ Wednesdays, because we have something going on every Wednesday of the month. Still not as many spaces as we were previously. So we're still in good shape as far as capacity and the amount of spaces that we have. But so for volunteer committee, that committee meets on the second Wednesday at 5:30 to 6:30 p.m., which would be next week, right? And we'll get into more of what y'all can expect from committees this month. But this committee will be our behind the scenes committee. So members in this committee will have opportunities to learn more about what it takes for IJ to serve our community. And in this committee, members will be able to support a variety of projects and tasks like social media, policy efforts, handling mail from incarcerated members, signing up folks to receive Inside Journal, reviewing the curriculum for Inside organizers, planning special events, supporting outreach developments, and data entry, which kind of goes hand in hand with signing folks up to receive our Inside Journal. But again, the volunteer committee is the behind the scenes. And so what we also recognize, and this is just within all spaces throughout all of our communities and all of the workspaces and all of the organizing spaces, there are silent organizers and there are loud organizers, right? Me, depending on what day it is and how I'm feeling, I might be silent, I might be loud. But we really wanted to create spaces where both folks can go and be able to contribute the work that they felt they could without the added pressure of needing to be, the face or needing to be the one in the front, leading the efforts, leading the charge and things of that nature. So again, our volunteer committee is the behind the scenes committee, the quiet committee, as we've kind of termed it. But this will be where folks can, just sign up and go to this committee. We'll have different volunteer opportunities, or we'll teach you about the different volunteer opportunities that we have within Initiate Justice, how you can get connected, how you can sign up, and different things like that. Oh, excuse me. And then we also will have the Community Action Committee. This committee will act as our street team committee. So think of like outreach, actively outreaching and organizing and things of that nature. So members will have the opportunity to engage in organizing and outreach work that pushes forward the work of IJ. And in this committee, members will be able to participate in policy calls to action, create and host fundraisers, attend and support outreach events, including presentations, tablings, and social media and policy campaigns. Also, members of this committee will be able to make connections with supporting organizations and other community partners to further our work and expand our base. So again, this committee is more suited for folks that really interested in being on the front lines, making the phone calls, sort of being in the face of other folks, and advocating. Sort of like I explained to you earlier, we have this quiet advocacy, quiet organizer, and a loud advocate or a loud organizer. And so that's the distinction between the two committees. You do not have to choose either or. If you have the capacity and you are willing to dedicate your time to both of these spaces throughout the year, every month, every other month, whatever that looks like to you, definitely more than welcome to do so. This is not you have to choose a committee and that's it, right? You can participate in both of these committees. And again, we will be having rotating hosts for all of these committees. And so, as I said, volunteer committee will not always be hosted by the same team or department or team member. Same thing goes for the Community Action Committee. And the reason behind this is really because we wanted all of the work to be involved, right? We didn't want the work to be siloed and living off in its own spaces. We wanted to bring everybody together to be working on all of the things at the same time, so to speak. And so for this month, for February, we have, for our volunteer committee this month, we have Crystal and Ephraim from our Inside Membership Committee, our Inside Membership team, who will be hosting our first volunteer committee meeting this month. So really exciting. Folks that sign up folks that register and participate in this committee this month will be learning all about our mail nights. You'll learn about what goes into receiving the mail, responding to the mail, and how we organize mail nights. We just had a very successful mail night a couple of weeks ago. After school at some point in time. Okay. We just had a very successful mail night a couple of weeks ago. Really, really great. It was my first mail night as organizer or as a staff person. So it was really, really great to learn the process. And so again, this month on the 8th, you'll have the chance to join this committee and learn all about what goes into receiving the mail and sending the mail out to, again, over 45,000 people. That number does fluctuate because, you know, folks come home, and that's a good thing. We want folks to come home. And so it's not always at that number. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. But our team does a really great job of responding to the mail and things like that. And I know Crystal's here. I don't know, Crystal, if you wanted to give any like sneak peeks into what specifically y'all will be uplifting or anything like that. Now's your chance to advertise and get folks to join in.
Thank you, Adriana. We are going to be zoning in and talking about our inside members, our incarcerated members. So we will be talking to you about what that means at Initiate Justice and why we have such a large incarcerated membership base. And if you need a refresher or if you want to learn how to respond to mail and help us add names to our mailing list, please join, because Efrain and I will be giving you all a tutorial. So at the end of the night, you will be able to help us respond to mail and add new members to our mailing list, because our first edition of 2023, our February 2023 edition of the Inside Journal will be getting mailed out late February, early March. So folks will get an update on what IJ is working on in 2023 and all the exciting updates that we have coming up. So if you need a refresher or if you would like to learn how to do that, Efrain and I will teach you next Wednesday at 5:30.
Awesome. Thanks, Crystal. Really excited for this new structure. As she said, they've created an amazing agenda and presentation for y'all. So I hope to see all of y'all there and everything like that. But that's essentially going to be our first committee meeting. And then on the 22nd of the month, which will be that fourth Wednesday, excuse me, it'll be our comms team, Ra and Michelle. And Michelle is with us this evening. But they'll be talking about toolkits and using digital materials and like how you can utilize that in your outreach efforts, in your organizing efforts for Initiate Justice as members and organizers, or just in your own advocacy within your own communities. So again, our committees will be about like work and doing the work and amplifying the work of Initiate Justice, but also it's about building your skill set as well. So it's a 2-for-1 situation. But we're really excited to roll this out. And we're just really, like I said, we're just really excited to finally roll this out and see how this goes and bring y'all something new, something fresh. And again, to keep you engaged, to keep you activated, and to continue to build our power and bringing our loved ones home. So super exciting about that. This is the actual slide for the month, but this is also similar to what folks will now see every month during our member meetings. And so every month we will show you what committees are doing for the month. So when you come to the member meeting in March, the slide you will see will be for the March committees. And then we'll also have some other announcements and things like that as it relates to what's going on that month or things that you should be aware of in the community. And so you'll see on the side, we'll have announcements. And again, this is just a reminder that Volunteer Committee meets Wednesday, February 8th at 5:30. And the Community Action Committee meets Wednesday, February 22nd at 5:30. Again, committee meetings are held at the exact same times, just maybe on different days. And then you'll also see, again, the announcement about Institute of Impacted Leaders. Applications are live. And then also the announcement you see for Abolitionists for Everybody podcast. So we made those announcements at the beginning of the meeting. But moving forward, beginning in March, this will sort of be what you see at the beginning. Used to be our committee update slide. This is what you will see. And the updates will be more verbatim. And things of that nature. We also may have some additional slides if we have some additional notes or things that we really want you to pay attention to, or things that we want you to like screen capture or something like that. But we will still be sharing committee updates in our member meetings every month. So if you can't attend a committee meeting, we will share that update in the next member meeting, as well as I said earlier, through any emails or email communication that goes out, as well as the newsletter that comes out quarterly as well. So that is the end of this particular presentation regarding new membership, new committee structure. I'm going to leave this slide up for a little bit longer just so folks can really get it. We will make sure that you have the links to register for the committees at the end of the meeting before we close today. And then we'll also be sharing out the information like via social media, and then it'll also be on our website as well on the calendar. So you'll be able to register for the committee meetings that way as well. We talked through the committee structure and membership structure, wanting to know if there are any other questions or concerns that folks have. I know I've seen a lot of stuff going on in the chat. Messages coming through. But if you have questions, or maybe you put a question in the chat and we weren't able to get to it, feel free to come off mute and ask your question.
You said you guys are coming to the Inland Empire. Where at in Inland Empire?
So specifically, we'll be in the Riverside, great question, the Riverside and San Bernardino areas. And specifically, that's where we're specifically targeting. However, even if you don't live specifically in the Riverside, San Bernardino area, we still encourage folks to apply for the Institute of Impacted Leaders, because if we have the capacity, we will have the capacity to accept you. So really just want to be clear on that. We do prioritize folks in the area where we are going, but that is not a deterrent for anybody to apply. So please feel free to apply if you are even in the vicinity of the Inland Empire. Your experience matters as well. And so we really would love to have anybody apply. So
Okay, good. I'm San Bernardino, so.
oh, perfect. Yes, definitely. Apply. Apply right now.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And how do you say your name? Is it Yvonne?
Yeah, Yvonne.
Okay, perfect. Beautiful, Yvonne. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Great question. Are there any other questions about membership? And I'm actually going to stop the share. And then if we need to, we can put this back up right before we close if folks want to screenshot things of that nature. But I'm going to stop share because really I just want to see everybody. But if are there any other questions, comments, or concerns about the new membership, new committee structure? And even if you don't have questions, if you have a comment, if you're like, I think this is cool, I think this is weird, I don't know. We want to hear all of the feedback because again, that just helps us to be able to assess what we're doing behind the scenes and be able to serve y'all better. Crispy says she appreciates the consolidation of meetings. Thank you, Crispy. Are mail nights an online thing? Great question, Anna. I'm actually going to pass that over to Crystal to answer about mail night.
Thank you, Adriana. Currently, you can respond through mail virtually and on your own time, which is what next week's tutorial is going to be. And then sometimes after our influxes of mail, we do mail nights in our LA office. Currently, we do not do in-person mail nights in other regions of California. I'm trying to though. So if you're interested in a specific area, let me know, drop it in the chat, and I'll bring some envelopes with me so that y'all can help me respond to mail. So currently it is virtual and in the LA office.
Awesome, thanks, Crystal. And I do see a question in the chat that I just want to address from Christine regarding discussing a new visiting bill to be presented this year. I don't know if that's one of ours necessarily, if that is something that we talked about we were going to be doing. But last month's meeting, we did it was mainly, we did breakout sessions last month and just kind of sharing what we're excited to accomplish this year and things like that. So wasn't really like a specific meeting where we did any discussing of bills or anything like that, but definitely encourage you to watch our Instagram live with our policy director, Greg, where he'll be sharing some legislative updates about what's going on, IJ related, and things of that nature. And then as well, sign up for committees, because as I said, we'll also be doing not committee updates, but some legislative updates when they are available in these committee meetings. So definitely sign up as many times as you can so you don't miss any information. And then I also see that you said you tried to email with no response, Christine. I apologize for that. You may have emailed the info@Initiate Justice email. So if you ever missed a member meeting or anything like that, feel free to email me at adriana@initiatejustice.org, and I will respond to you in a timely manner. And then I do have a question from Delphina. How does one become an inside member? I am going to pass that back to our inside membership manager, Crystal.
Thank you. I can drop a link in the chat so that you can sign up a loved one who is currently incarcerated. And another way to do it is you can let your loved one know that there are new member signups that go around, whether that's from the journal or from an inside organizer. So they can just add themselves on there, and we'll be sure to add them so that they can get the journal updates. Delphina, but for now, I will drop the link in the chat. And that's a really good point, because we're about to send our journal with our 2023 bill packages and updates. So if your loved one is not on the list, or maybe their housing needs to be updated, you can do it in the link that I'm about to drop, and then Efrain and I will make sure that we do that before we send the journal in.
Awesome, thanks, Crystal. Yeah, who said that?
I'm sorry. This is Marty Lopez.
Hi, Martin.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
I'm new. I'm the one that just got released from Chino prison.
Oh,
and this is my first
welcome. I think
meeting.
I sent you an email.
You did. How do I? Okay, on my phone, I can't see you guys. Is there a way of seeing you guys, or because you keep saying about the views and slides, but I can't
Oh,
see.
okay. So since you're on your phone, usually you will have to like swipe the screens to see like the bigger screen. You have to like swipe a couple of times.
Oh,
Yeah, so when you're on your phone, you have to swipe the screen, because it just shows, it'll just show like the speaker. One screen will show like you, and then the other screen will show like multiple, as many people will fit on the phone screen.
oh, I got you now. Yeah, I just did that. I see you now.
Awesome, awesome. And then if it's also helpful too, we also upload these meetings to YouTube. After our meetings are done, we upload them to YouTube. And so we'll make sure that you have that link and things of that nature. So that way you can always go back to the YouTube, and you can kind of like fast forward to the part where the presentation was on the screen. That way you don't have to necessarily watch it like on this little screen on your phone. And you can also watch that back on your phone too on YouTube. So
Okay. Could you spell your name so I can email you later so we can talk later too?
yeah, sure. I'll drop my email in the chat again. And then I don't know, Michelle, are you able to drop the link to the YouTube page really fast?
Yes, I will drop it right now.
Awesome, thank you. So I did drop my email in the chat again, and then Martin, Michelle is dropping the link to our YouTube page in the chat as well. So you'll be able to just go straight to the YouTube page, and the video for tonight's member meeting will probably be up sometime next week.
Okay, thank you. And also, you know, I'm working at a radio station now. When I got out, I went back to work at the radio station. So any way, any form that you guys need from our help on that end, let me know. Email me, let me know, and I can do that for you guys too.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We'll definitely be in touch. Same thing for everybody else. If you are connected to resources or things like that, we always love to expand and connect with more community partners, more folks in the community, and share our stories and share the work that Initiate Justice is doing. So definitely please feel free to connect with me. I would be handling all of those things. So definitely feel free to connect with me and we can talk about like what things could potentially look like moving forward.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And I just want to amplify something Efrain dropped in the chat. He said, so great to see so many joining our community day who have recently come home. Welcome home to everyone. I just want to also echo that big welcome home. This space is definitely for you. So we are happy and excited and very proud to have you with us tonight. So thank you for sharing your time with us today.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So all right, so it's about 7:28, so we still have a nice chunk of time. So I really just want to again open it up to the floor to see if there's any other additional questions, thoughts as it relates to our new membership structure, our new committee structure. There will still be things that we will have to roll out, more like processy things that'll be internal. But we will keep y'all updated on what those are. But again, there shouldn't be any work that y'all will have to do on your end. We'll just keep you updated as to what changes are and things like that, just in case. But we always just want to be mindful, be transparent as much as possible, and keep y'all in the loop of what's going on. So again, just passing it back. Any final questions or thoughts before we kind of move into the last portion of our meeting, and perhaps y'all will get some time back in your evenings tonight. Awesome. I'm seeing none. Have a safe night, Adam. Thanks for joining us. All righty, so we will move forward in with our we'll just move into like our close. So we'll take maybe about 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes, not ending too early, but definitely just want to end with some last minute reminders, and then perhaps if folks are open to it, we can just sort of open the space the last few minutes and just kind of, I know we didn't have a grounding, but I do recognize that there's been a lot of things going on. So I would also just like for us to hold space and take up some time up to 8 if folks are wanting to stay. I'm willing to stay up until that time if folks just want to decompress or de-stress. And so for our upcoming events and closing, before we kind of open it up, I want to remind folks to register for our February committee meetings that are coming up. So we have some links that are going to be dropping in the chat. For volunteer committee that is happening next Wednesday on the 8th, you'll register at tinyurl.com/volunteerij. And then for the community action committee that's happening on the 22nd, you will register at tinyurl.com/organizeij. So those are your reminders for your committee meetings. That is how you will get connected to these first committee meetings this month. They should be getting dropped in the chat in just a second. I see folks moving around. Oh, excuse me. And so register for those. You will receive the Zoom link once you do, and it should come in the form of a calendar invite as well. So those things can be added to your calendar, your email calendars and things of that nature. If you're interested in doing both, I would suggest registering for both tonight or whenever you have a chance, just so that it's out of the way and they're on your calendar and you don't have to worry about it. And then also don't forget to register for our next member meeting. So our very next member meeting will be next month, March 1st. So a month from today, 6:30 p.m. And again, as a reminder, we did shorten our meetings by about 30 minutes. So for those that are new to the space, we used to have these meetings from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. It's another change, or another change that we made this year is shortening our member meetings by about 30 minutes. and giving y'all some times in your evenings back, because we recognize the work week is stressful enough. And we want y'all to have as much time to sort of de-stress, decompress, and just be with your families and loved ones as much as you can. And we also recognize that folks get phone calls from the inside. And so we really just want to not tie you up in time as much as possible. So don't forget to register for that next member meeting at tinyurl.com/IJmeeting. And then last but not least, certainly apply and or share the application for the Institute of Impacted Leaders. You can find the application at tinyurl.com/institute interest. The volunteer link is not working for you.
It's just missing an E in volunteer.
Oh,
We
is
will
it?
Send it. Yeah.
Oh, I see. It is missing an E. Okay. That's my fault too, because that's how I wrote it in the in the chat, in the agenda. So my badness, y'all. We'll get that corrected. And Michelle, if you can just drop the correct spelling of the link, that would be great. And then again, as I said, apply and share that tiny URL for the application for the Institute of Impacted Leaders. Definitely excited to see folks sign up and join. And I'll see folks on the 23rd for that info session. And then, okay, beautiful. And then Crashes, you're talking about the member meeting registration. I think folks are talking about the committee meeting links. Yeah, the member meeting links should work, but the committee meeting link, there was a misspelling, so that's why it wasn't working. But if there's any other issues with links or anything like that, please flag it for us so that we can go ahead and fix whatever the issue is. So that concludes our member meeting of the month. Lots of updates, lots of things changing, but changing for the better. One of the things that I have learned to embrace is change. I used to hate it. I used to be fearful of it. I didn't like it. I was very resistant to change. And so now, in the space that I am in today, I'm very much open and willing and accepting of change. And so things are changing at IJ a little bit, but again, for the better, lean in and just embrace the journey and enjoy it, because it's going to be great. And again, we're doing all of this to be more intentional to y'all as a whole and as a collective. And I've already seen some good feedback regarding the shrinking of the amount of meetings that we have. So I'm glad that that is something that's resonating for folks. So I did want to reserve some space at the end. I am going to stop the recording just for the sake of privacy. But I really want to thank folks. If you do have to leave early, step out, definitely feel free. Thank you. But I will be stopping the recording right before we end, and then I'll leave the room open for folks that may want to stay, chat, or just kind of like let off some stress out. Michelle, I see your hand. Take it away before we wrap it up.
Yeah. I just wanted to confirm that the links are working.
Okay. Oh yeah, I see. Like,
So if somebody can give me, it's working on my end, so it might just be something we're sending y'all wrong.
okay. We'll check it. If these links don't continue to be funny for y'all, please stay tuned to emails, to social media. Also, you can go to our calendar on our initiatejustice.com, or is it .org? Initiatejustice.org, and see our calendar of events. And you can sign up through the website that way. So if the tiny URLs aren't working, just know you can always go to our website calendar, where all of the meetings will be there, and you can register right from our website. So just future reference. And with that, are there no other questions and concerns about membership or anything like that? I don't see none, but I thank y'all. Oh, Amy, I see a hand. Go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to uplift Dorothy's question. I have the same one. Will Abolition Corner be happening this coming year?
I see. That is a great question. And we don't have Sarah with us this evening. But there are also changes with Abolition Corner. I believe, Michelle, do you have a little bit more info on the Abolition Corner piece?
Yes, thank you. So we don't have Abolition Corner right now because Sarah is currently out of office, but that is also in the process of being restructured. We wanted to make it a space that reaches a wider audience. So as soon as we have that finalized and when Sarah is back from being out of office, she'll be gone for the entire month. We'll definitely let you all know once Abolition Corner is kicking back up. But we really do appreciate you all being patient and, going into all of these changes. We're super excited about them and we hope you are too. We think the cutting down of the committees is super exciting. But yeah, also really wanting to encourage you all to give us feedback on what you all think. It's very new to us. It makes sense to us. But if there's any gaps that we might be feeling, please let us know and we'll be sure to get back to you on. We really do take your feedback into consideration. So please be honest, be transparent, let us know because it makes sense to us, but maybe the way we're translating it to y'all is not. But yes, I'm sorry, that was very long-winded. Abolition Corner will be back, just being restructured, but thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Definitely not long-winded. I think what you said was like a perfect wrap up, is that just thank you for your patience. Thank you for continuing to express that patience with us as a team and with myself as the newbie on the team. So gratitude always. Thank you so much. And with that, I am going to stop our recording right now.